All right. So we are back and I am so excited. We have been going strong for 2 weeks with the You Are Stronger Than You Think Meet the Speaker series, where we are meeting each one of our speakers from January the 3rd to January the 13th. Today is the last day, and we have saved one of the best for last tonight. And I'm so happy that you've been along on this journey with us. I think that you have gotten a great opportunity to see what great women mentors that we have prepared for you at this event. Women who are going to come alongside of you and champion you in this race of faith that you're running right now. And I am Kendra Tillman. I am actually the host of the You Are Stronger Than You Think women's event. And I'm also the founder of StrongerThanYouThink.co. So the event was an event that I launched that I finally actually got the courage to launch about 3 years ago. And I feel that there's so many events that you have available to you. And I know that there's many events that will inspire you, that will encourage you, but there is not a lot of events that will actually equip you and empower you. So that is what we want to do. We want to not just like make you excited and, have you on cloud nine. We want you to have those mountaintop experiences, but we also want you to know that you got to put some work behind whatever your goals, whatever your dreams are as well. And that is why we are doing we're introducing you to each one of the speakers, letting you get to know them a little bit so that when you walk into the room with us on January the 21st, you will feel like you are meeting with friends, not strangers. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is for those of you who have maybe never been to our website before, I want to encourage you to go on over to the website, and then you will see our web address is StrongerThanYouThinkEvent.com. So StrongerThanYouThinkEvent.com has all the details. It tells you what to expect about all the different sessions. And if you have missed any of the videos, we've been placing these videos on YouTube so that you can go back and watch them and kind of catch up with anything that you may have missed so that you feel ready for the event in next weekend that's happening next weekend. So now the next thing that I want to do is I want to just go ahead and just jump right in and introduce you to our next speaker for tonight's event. I'm talking to people on Facebook Live. I'm talking to people in our Facebook group and whoever is on Zoom. So just so you know, let me tell the people really quickly, the people that are watching us on Facebook Live, if you would actually like to see Jane and not just hear her voice, if you click on the link that we posted, you're actually able to go in and to see her, because we are talking to her live right now through Zoom, and you'll be able to ask her questions from there, but you can also leave your questions on Facebook Live as well. So, one last thing, I almost forgot to do this. Whenever you put on an event like this, anytime you do anything like this, it is always great to have a great support system of people who will be there for you, who will champion you, people who want to support you in multiple different ways, whether it's financially, whether it's just moral support. And for when you're putting on an event, for us, we don't have any desire or think that we could do this all on our own. So we have some great sponsors. Each day we have introduced you to a different sponsor. And all we want to do today is to just go back and thank every single one of our sponsors, because they are the people that have partnered with us to help us to be able to host the type of event that we feel will actually benefit you in a great way. So again, if you missed any of the videos from the past, you will see us talking about each one of our sponsors, and you'll get to meet the sponsors at the actual event. So now let's get down to the nitty-gritty of why you're actually on this call in the first place, why you're joining this meeting with us in the first place. It's because you want to hear from our guest tonight, Jane Spicer. We are talking about how to push past your fear to actually reach your goals. And I could not think of a better person to talk to us about this than Jane, who has, oh man, when you hear her story, it's amazing. So the first thing I want to do, so Jane, I know who you are. Let's go ahead and tell everybody else who you are, a little bit about who you are and where you are right now in your business.
Well, thank you very much for having me today, Kendra. I really appreciate it. I'm the CEO and founder of Daphne's Head Covers. Daphne's Head Covers makes animal head covers, golf club covers for some of the top pros in the world. I started the company when I was 16, and it's grown to a global company. We're now in 75 countries, and it's been a great journey along the way. Lots and lots of learning, bumps and bruises, and tremendous successes.
Right. And I know when I had an opportunity to talk to you one-on-one, we talked about the fact of how you started this business. So where did the whole idea of the business come from? Like, what's this backstory behind the actual business itself?
Well, when I was 10, I asked my mom, Daphne, who's the namesake of the company, for a sailboat. Mm-hmm. And she said, Jane, think of a business and earn it yourself. So with her help, I started making stuffed toys and selling them to friends and neighbors. And I earned a little 16-foot sailboat. And that the toys morphed into puppets. Mm-hmm. And then when I was almost 16, my mom, I wanted a car, and my mom bribed me and said, I tell you what, if you sell enough of these, I'll buy you a car. So I went out equipped with loads of enthusiasm and no experience whatsoever and started selling, and I earned the car.
Yeah. Sometimes the lack of experience is a good thing, right? Because you don't know that you should be scared, or you don't know that you can't do this because because in your mind, hey, I can do this. So that's actually a good thing.
Oh, it was had I known what I was supposed to be doing as I walked into all the country clubs as a 16-year-old sales rep, I would have been terrified. I did everything wrong daily, day in, day out. But I was tenacious and things worked. And later on, when I figured out all the things I'd done wrong, it was too late. My business had already grown.
Yeah. So that's a good thing especially for a person like me, because I'm more of like, I'm a rule follower. I tend to be a rule follower. So I want to check the boxes that I did X, Y, and Z. But you just broke all the rules and it still worked out really well for you.
It really did. And it was great because it helped me realize too, as a rule follower at one time, that you make your own rules and rules change, and not all the rules are for everybody. As long as you're honest and you're loving and you're kind, who says you have to do it one specific way? You have to find the way that works for you. Mm-hmm.
And when take us back to the 16-year-old Jane. So when you were going into these shops, was there anything that you felt like you had to do to kind of like get up the courage to do that? Or did you just know, okay, I really want this car, so I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it?
Both.
Okay.
Both. Yeah. My first sales meeting was probably the best example. I walked in, I talked my way into the Arizona Biltmore, so I didn't start small. I went to the country club. Saw the picture on the wall of the director of golf, and it was the highest picture up on the wall. So I figured he was the guy in charge. And I said, I'm here to see Pete. And they said, oh, okay. Since I was 16, they thought they didn't know if I was his daughter or a friend. And I walked in and I gave him my sales pitch. And he said, I'm going to tell you three things. One, that's the worst sales pitch I've ever heard in my life. Two, I'm going to buy head covers from you. And three, I'm going to give you some tips.
That's
and this
awesome.
Very kind man did. And he placed an order. And then he said, I'm going to send you out and I'm going to have you talk to two people. And if you can sell to them, you can sell to anybody. The first one's a brilliant marketer, and he is tough and buttoned up, and you better have your sales pitch down pat or he'll chew you up and spit you out.
Right.
The second guy's a real slick guy. And if you can have an honest relationship with him, then you can work with anybody. And he gave me tips, gave me an order to go home for a week and practice. And I didn't. I practiced in my car. I went straight to the slick marketer, and Kendra, he chewed me up and he spat me out.
Wow.
But I sold to him, and I sold him something that we didn't have. He said, well, if you could make this. I said, I can do that. Not a problem.
Right.
Then I sat in my car and I cried. And I cried. And then I said, okay, now I'm going to the next guy. And I went to the next guy, and the slick marketer, and he talked me out of all my samples at wholesale for full retail tennis shoes and all my cash on me. So I came home and I had 3 orders, no prototypes, brand new shoes, no cash, and got my first bumps and bruises.
Wow. How do you go back to class after that? Like, you're in high school, and how do you go back to school after knowing you did that? So this is the question that keeps kind of like rolling around in my mind by hearing you talk about this. So I know that that's where you were at 16, but along the way, did you ever get any type of formal sales training, or was it all just trial and error?
It was trial and error, and I interview anybody I can. I love people, so I'm constantly asking and constantly listening. And, what do people do? What's happening? Now, I was studying art in high school, and I studied that in college, so it had nothing to do with the business I was building.
Right.
So I didn't even get help there. So I just asked, and I'm a voracious reader, and I listen to anything I can in my car, if you can get audiobooks. So constantly learning that way, but nothing formal. But I really watched people. When I see the trained sales reps for the big golf companies come in, I follow them around, and I was pretty shameless because they would say, what are you doing? Oh, I just want to listen.
Yeah.
Good. And I just was a sponge.
That's great. And I think when I talked to you before, you talked about how many books a year you read. So how many books a year do you read?
Well, I always have different challenges for myself. And I read many years ago, the average college graduate reads 4 books a year. So I decided, well, then I have to read 12.
Yeah.
And I think this year I was 13 or 14. I'm not sure, but I always hit that mark of 12. And so I'm constantly reading, and that doesn't count what I'm listening to in my car.
Right. And I mean, because I love what you talk about, the fact that it's really a lot of you self-educating yourself and not waiting for someone else, but learning, because I think that books are some of the best mentors, right? The people that you don't necessarily know people personally, but they're sitting down and they're explaining to you step by step what they did or what strategies that they use or what principles they live by. And all those things actually help still get you the same exact information as if you were talking to them.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you can go back, and my books are all a mess, Kendra. They have marks and folded ears and highlights and all the different things. And sometimes I'll get something, I'll read it a second time several years later and go, oh, now I'm ready for that. I get it. So books are the absolute best. You can take your teacher with you wherever you go.
Yes. And the main meat of what we're going to talk about is fear, pushing past fear. So I actually wear this necklace. I don't know if people can see it, but it says fearless.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. And it's just a reminder, like even when I'm doing things like this, like I kind of wear it and it's just a reminder to me, because in my life, I felt that for many years of my life, I kind of let fear kind of be the driver in my life for a long time. And it's not the driver anymore. And I daily, monthly, yearly push myself to do things that I feel afraid of. So what I really wanted to know from you, because I just admire, you started as a child, first of all, at 10 with an idea, then 16, it kind of evolved and morphed into something else. And it has continued to grow for all these years. So for you, if we want to talk about 2 to 3 strategies of what you do to help you push past the fear that you experience in your life.
Well, one of the first lessons that I learned, again, from my mom, who was an amazing mentor, was I went out one day and I went to sell, and I sold nothing. And I came back and I said, I failed, Mom. I failed. I didn't sell. And she said, no, you didn't. Nothing happened. You're in the exact same place as you were when you left. You sold nothing this morning. So you're there. So you sold nothing now. You didn't fail. You just need to go back out and do it again. You've not failed.
Yes.
And I love that. So I think about that when I approach a really big customer or a major deal. I haven't failed. You can't until you really go in there and try. So that always helped me, because I would just go in and go, until something happens, I haven't failed.
Right.
And even a couple no's, well, I haven't failed. They just haven't said yes yet.
Right. And along those same lines, it's like, okay, so what if they say no? They say no, then what?
I had a couple different things games that I played with myself early on, and they've evolved, and I'd like to think they've gotten a little bit more polished. But initially, if they said no, I heard somebody say 7 no's, take a yes, make a yes. So I kept on going back. Or if they gave me a hard time, the challenge that I made to myself, keep in mind, as a 16-year-old girl going into a golf shop of all men, I had to be pretty tough at times and a lot of things that I didn't really want to hear.
Yes.
So the game I played with myself was the rougher they are on me, whether it's how they speak to me or the comments that they make, the more I'll sell to them.
Mm-hmm.
So if they would start with me, I'd laugh and say, oh, here's another head cover. Can I add that to your order? Or here's another. And I would just keep on going.
Yes.
Somewhat impervious, because the worse they got, the more determined I was. And they weren't used to that, because usually people would just roll over and leave. And sometimes you do. Sometimes you have to just go, you know what, I'm excusing myself from the situation. But when I turned it into, kind of bring it on, boys.
Yeah.
You just bring it and we'll see what happens. That gave me so much more courage to continue. And then that skill helped me become even more tenacious.
Absolutely. I mean, I could definitely see how that would be the case. And like you said about, you played like this game with yourself in your mind, because what they were doing was trying to intimidate you, right? The fear, right. With the fear, and it would make you give up on whatever it is. And I mean, and I do know that there are times when you have to know when to walk away. But you also have to know when there's times where you just stay in there and you keep fighting for whatever it is that you want.
Yes. Absolutely. And you have to think about it too. Are you going to let one person stand in the way of your dreams? Are you going to look back and say, this one person was so significant? And you probably won't remember their name. Right. Was this one person so significant that I allowed them to take my dream? Right. And I gave that to them. Right. And for me, it's always been no way.
You know what I think about is that, with basically along the lines of what you just said, is what if you had never gone to that very first shop that you went in and talked to? And then what if after that you never went back to another shop? You know what I'm saying? Like, you would be in a completely different place in your life and you wouldn't be where you are right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And you have to take all those what ifs, and go and try and do it. Because you can always come back and go, I did this and this is how I grew, because you grow from everything. But if you don't do it, you just cheated yourself from that chance to learn and grow. So you have to go and just see what it is.
Right. So what is another strategy that you use to push past fear?
One of them was really just what we touched on. It is if I'm thinking about goals and I think this is really what I want, if I'm really, really nervous, I'll think, would I give this goal to this person? Would I give it, say, this was my dream. Here, you can have it, put it on your shelf. And I've never, ever thought, this person is scary enough or rough enough, or this company's hard enough to deal with, that I'm going to allow them to have something that says Jane's dream on the shelf that I'll never pursue again. Right. So nobody has that power. And sometimes I have to frame it that way, going, okay, this is a huge negotiation. I've traveled across the world to do this. This is big. These are the really big guns. But then I think, I don't really know these people. Am I going to give them my dream? Or am I going to see if I can get it?
In that same vein, has there ever been a time where you went into a situation where it was intimidating and you feel like when you came out of it that you wish you had handled it differently, like that your fear did get the best of you?
Oh, yeah. Tons of them. Absolutely. I put myself in situations where I thought either I was absolutely confident or I knew I could handle it. And then I got in and I was way in over my head. I usually come back and do kind of a review. Okay, what could I have done better? What could I have done different? How would I prepare? How would I be? And I'll even role play. Right. Okay, the Jane that I want to be would handle it this way. Jane, that when I see myself, like if I was watching myself on a movie, Kendra, and I go, this totally put together, has got all the answers, super intelligent, powerful, confident, kind, loving Jane would do it this way. Right. And then I think about it in my head and role play what that is, and then see if I can bring that the next time. I think it's better to see those things rather than spending too long licking your wounds when you've done something daft.
Yeah, definitely. And when you were saying that, I just think that I wonder how many opportunities that we have missed out on because we didn't say, you know what? Okay, I know I messed up in that situation. But that doesn't define like everything. Like I don't have to throw everything away because I didn't do my best in this situation. And what I'm wondering is, can you think of like one specific instance that you felt was there was a lot of fear there for you, but you were able to, maybe you didn't handle it the best way, but you learned from the situation. Can you think of a situation like that? Or?
Absolutely. One of my designs is the tiger that Tiger Woods carries on his golf bag. Mm-hmm. And for a while, it was the hottest selling golf item in the world.
Yeah.
And it was mine. And I got a phone call one day, and it was from one of the largest golf companies that Tiger was licensed with. And I wasn't expecting it. And they went around the room. It was a conference room. They're obviously in the conference room, and they gave their titles. Mm-hmm. One was more impressive: intellectual property, lawyer of this, manager of this,
right?
All these different things. Mm-hmm. And they came to me and said, "We're here to take your tiger design."
Wow.
Yeah. And not only was it my copyright, but it was one of the last designs my mom did before she passed away. So it's very, very heartfelt for me.
Absolutely.
And these were big guns,
right?
And so much better educated than I was. Mm-hmm. And I had to fight for my intellectual property. And I will tell you that when I got off the phone, I pushed the chair back, I curled up in a ball, and fell on the floor.
Yeah.
And just laid there going, oh my gosh.
Right.
What just happened? And then I started to think of all the brilliant comebacks. And I had great comebacks
afterwards.
And they were strong, and I was witty. Right. And they didn't happen on the phone. Mm-hmm. But I made one comment through all of that, through my heart racing, blinking back tears, one comment that stuck with them. And that made for a second phone call. And that gave me the space and the time to do what I needed to protect my design.
Right.
And it ended up turning things around, that they came and said, okay, we've actually changed our mind. We'd now like to buy from you.
Okay, great.
But that first phone call, I was teary, shaky, frightened, fumbling over my words, inarticulate, and just a mess. Just a mess, and I think about that many, many times.
Mm-hmm. And so sometimes then that would say to me, sometimes in situations where you are fearful and you have like been kind of overcome with the fear, sometimes there's your cat, you said. Sometimes you get a second chance, right? And you get to do things a little differently than you did the first time. Yeah.
Most times you do get a second chance. It might not be wrapped in the same package.
Right.
It might not be, in the same week, month, or year. Mm-hmm. But I really, really think that you get the opportunity. So each one, I found that I've done the beating up on myself routine, but I found at each one I go, okay, this was your lesson. How would you handle it next time?
Right.
Really think it through. I love to write, so I'd write it down and do those things. Then that tool will pop up later on, and you get to do it again. Then you walk away, and maybe you had a little bit more polish, or you were a little bit more articulate, or a little something. But it was because of that first rough one that you cared so much about. Right,
because you learned something from that one, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes. Because that's what I hear you saying is, you have to learn from the mistakes that you make, and it's okay to make mistakes, and don't let the mistakes stop you from going for it the next time, to just keep going for it. Yeah.
You have to. I know it's people hear this all the time, but Babe Ruth struck out more than he hit home runs. Mm-hmm. Mistakes and make them over and over, but try not to make the same ones.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think it's important to be authentic with yourself. Really own it. If you make a mistake, don't blame. Don't point fingers. Don't give your power away.
Yeah.
You know what? I really messed up.
Right.
And this is what I did. And this is how I would do it better.
Mm-hmm.
Own it, because then it's truly yours to be a stepping stool to go on to the next level.
Absolutely. Now, there's people that are watching right now from Facebook Live, and there's a couple of people watching from us on Zoom. If you all have questions for Jane, please go ahead and ask the questions, and I'll relay those questions to her about pushing past your fear. If you have a situation in your life right now that maybe you're going through where you are trying to push past the fear, but you really just have been not able to, this would be a great time for you to ask her a question. So the other question that I have for you is back to I'm so glad you actually brought up the part about Tiger Woods, because I really wanted you to kind of share that story, because I think it's a story of endurance about his mom having given that head cover to him when he was a child, and you guys of course didn't know that, right? So can you kind of share that story a little bit?
Oh, absolutely. We had early on, Mrs. Woods had bought Tiger our head cover, and so he'd been carrying it for quite some time, just as a regular golfer. Mm-hmm. And then when he won the Masters for the first time, my phone started to ring like crazy. Mm-hmm. I was selling a couple here to one of my first orders was for 30,000 Tigers. Mm-hmm. And I was mind blowing. I thought they had the wrong number.
Right.
I was like, what?
Right.
What do you mean? And so it's grown, and it's just been a really, really lovely partnership with the Woods being gracious and generous people, ordering the head covers, and Tiger carrying them his entire career. And so we were lucky enough to work with Titleist and Nike and do a series of commercials with Nike licensing them, mm-hmm. Selling them all over the world. So it's been absolutely fabulous. And that one instance grew my business 400% in one quarter.
Wow.
So completely unplanned for, unanticipated, and no time to prepare for it. It was boom, here you go, here are the orders, start now.
So how long into your business were you at that point? Like, what year for you in business was that?
It was 1997 when he won the Masters. Mm-hmm. I think I was 16 in 78. I'm not around there. I don't know. Okay. So but then 16 had gone high school and then college. Mm-hmm. So I was probably 25. So now I was doing the head covers full time. I'd just come off, once I got out of school, mm-hmm. I got a real job and realized that wasn't for me. So I went on the road for 6 years.
Yes.
And selling the head covers and selling puppets and head covers. And so I'd only just come off the road. And had built enough business so that I could stay in one place.
Right.
And it was coordinated with me just having a baby too. So I had, everything happened at once. I had a baby, I had my son, my mom died, Tiger won the Masters, and then basically I didn't go home from work for about 4 years.
Wow.
Worked and slept in the office, and my son played on my office floor.
Wow.
Just doing anything I could to keep up with this amazing, amazing demand.
Wow. So that was from 78 to 97. You were building the business, kind of growing slow and steady, right?
Yes.
And then he wins the Masters, and then that's kind of when it exploded with the orders.
Yes, that absolutely was a huge launch for us, because my goal had always been to build slowly and steadily, as you said, and be a solvent company. Mm-hmm. And, you don't have to make an awful lot of money to support 1 or 2 or 3 people, which was me and my staff.
Right. And
then when it hit, we went to moving to a building that was 5 times the size that we were in, mm-hmm. running double shifts. Mm-hmm. But, we still do that amount of business. Actually, we do more now with less people, but I've had the value the value of time to learn how to do it without just throwing more people at it. More people, more energy to make it happen. So it's, and now we've expanded globally. So it's not just one super hot product. We have a lot of products that are sold 24/7, 365 days a year, mm-hmm. in 75 countries globally. So that helps.
And those are some of the head covers behind you?
Yes. I've got what do I have? That's a Weimaraner for it's the Gabriel's Angels is a local charity in mm-hmm. Arizona. Mm-hmm. They use therapy dogs to help abused and at-risk kids. And this Weimaraner was made in honor of their founding dog.
Wow.
And the proceeds goes to them wherever I sell it all over the world. It's in 30 countries now. And then the other is a hedgehog.
Oh, cute.
My favorite is very, very cute.
Yeah. Was that like inspired by Caddyshack?
No, we have a gopher that was for Caddyshack.
Oh, you did?
So we still have that. But the hedgehog, I think, just came from, I had told you that part of my childhood I lived in England, and it seems like every childhood story has a hedgehog in it.
Yeah. So cute. So cute. And the reason why I wanted you to share that is because I was like, you were in business for 19 years, growing slowly and steadily. And the saying about success is when preparation and opportunity meet, right? So you had built your business long enough to be able to handle. I'm sure you had to go into hyper mode when you get an order that big out of the blue, but you had the infrastructure and the people, and to be able to for that not to just explode your business and blow it to pieces.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And we had some of it. I mean, I had to hire triple the staff quickly.
Right.
And figure out a lot of things very, very quickly. But I did. I'd had the luxury of years of experience, and the desire for something like this. And I'd never thought about this particularly. My plan was to just continue growing steadily every year and moving on, because I've never had to be the biggest company, Kendra.
Right.
It's had to be the best quality, the best service,
yes,
best place to work. That's where my passion is. And then when all of a sudden we had this big boom, it's like, let's just do this.
I love that. You didn't have to be the biggest, but you had to be the best. That is great.
Yeah.
That is really great. So again, I have enjoyed this interview series so much. It is inspiring to me when I hear you all tell your stories, when I hear the wisdom that you're sharing, because I know that the women that are going to be speaking at this event are going to really help the women that are there, that are coming to maybe take a next step, maybe that they've been afraid to make or they don't feel equipped to make. So I just want to thank you so much for being here. And I know, like I said, we're actually out of time right now. But before everyone goes, what I would like to do is, if you like what you've heard so far throughout this series, tonight is the last night that we are doing this special. So we are going to be closing out the registration. The regular adult registration will end on Monday. That will be done and over with. And then there'll be like a small window of a price increase. And then we'll completely close registration, because the event is next Saturday. I cannot believe it's in 8 days. And we want to create a great experience, and we just want to make sure we know who's coming. So if you are interested in registering for the event, you can, up until midnight tonight, you can take $10 off the regular adult registration when you use the coupon code 2017 strong. So the coupon code is 2017 strong at checkout, and that will take $10 off the regular adult registration. And you register for that at StrongerThanYouThinkEvent.com. So again, Jane, thank you so much. Before we go, we're also doing a giveaway with you and your company, giving away. So would you like to tell them what we're giving away for your giveaway?
Oh, absolutely. We've sent a variety of different animals head covers.
Yay.
Anything from a bumblebee to a black Labrador to the hedgehog. So we'll have some things like that I hope will make everybody smile.
Yay. I'm so excited about that. I can't wait to touch them. I'm looking forward to getting those so that we can be able to give those to other people and share those. And I want to just see them myself in person. So if you are interested and you would like to win one of those, all you have to do is, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this as a video on YouTube, you can just leave a comment and tell us one of the things that you've had to do in the last 6 months to push past your fear to reach a goal. So that's all you have to do, is leave a comment telling one thing that you've done in the last 6 months to push past your fear to reach a goal. And then we'll randomly choose a winner based on the responses that we get. So, all right. Thank you, Jane, so much again for your time. And I will be seeing you next weekend.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yes. And for everyone else, remember, success is achieved through perseverance. So never, never, never give up. God bless you, and you have a great day.